first of all, I think I should mention that phonk itself has three key elements, at least in my opinion, that really sets it apart. And the first thing is the vocal, which adds mainly to the groove of the song. The second most important element, especially or mainly for the old school funk sound, is the bell. And the third element, which is important, of course, is the 808. Now, the rest is the drums, especially, is not as important. They can be in different rhythms, they can be different sounds, but I think the 808, the bell, and the vocal are especially important in this case. With this song, I actually started with the vocal, which I found online by searching for free funk vocal. That's it. And I found this one, which just right away I thought this was the perfect sound to start a track. So this is how it sounds.
Put that bitch up in reverse, that face gon' he fucking curse. Put that bitch up in reverse, that face gon' he fucking curse. Put that bitch up in reverse, that face gon' he fucking curse. Put that bitch up in reverse, that face gon' he fucking curse.
So you can hear that it has a really good groove, really catchy groove, and it's just repeating the same lines again and again throughout the entire song until the end. And it just makes it simple and easy to remember. It just works in this case. After finding the vocal, I started working on the drums. I thought that was the next step from just, having the foundational rhythm. Therefore, I went right away and got into the kick groove and the kick rhythm, which I mainly thought to support or to add to the original groove of the vocal. So they sound like this. As you can see, I also added a sweep or reverse kick right here to really add some extra impact on the most important kicks. It's very simple. After that, I added some snares. So first snare sounds like this, and the second one sounds like this. So you can hear this one is more of a top snare, and this is more filtered down or has more of a lower tone. On top of that, I also added a clap, a very snappy clap. And together they create this sound together. After that, I started working on the hi-hats. So first of all, a very closed, simple hi-hat. Then I added a opened one to add in some extra groove. So it sounds like this. And lastly, when it comes to the drums, I added this ride right here, which just goes like this throughout the song. Very simple. With the rest of the hi-hats, it sounds like this. You already kind of get the flow of it. And together with all the drums together sound like this. Which, you can kind of get the flow, you kind of get the rhythm of the funk sound. And all this is building on top of the vocal to add that groove and to add to that groove that's already there, which is very important. Then I went into the second most important element, which is the 808. And it's very simple. It plays basically a single tone throughout the entire song with some minor notes going up every once in a while. It plays pretty much the same rhythm as the kick, with some slight adjustments, with some extra tones, like this one right here. So it sounds like this. And as you can hear, it's very heavy. It has a lot of distortion, saturation. It's compressed, and it gives it that perfect sound for a funk song. Lastly, the last of the three most important elements is the bell, the iconic bell, and it sounds like this. As you can hear in this case, it's very saturated as well. If I remove the master, it's gonna sound like this. This sound, I can actually show you how this sound is made. It's made up of two stock samples from FL Studio stock samples. The first one is this bell right here, which you can probably recognize. It's a very famously used one. And the important thing here is the envelope, which makes you able to sort of set the length of each note that's played. So that's very important to not have a cluttered sound. Then I also added another layer to this bell to add extra mass to it, to give it more space in the mix and to sort of, give extra sound to it. So this is the second layer. And again, the same thing with that envelope. And they kind of get that vibe. They kind of get the perfect sound for an old school funk song. And yeah, that's pretty much it for them. So the last sounds to this song is these sweeps right here. This is the longer sweep and this is a shorter sweep, and these are, again, just as the reverse kicks, just there to add extra impact on those special moments where I want the impact. And that's really all they do. And maybe I should tell you that the bell actually changes throughout the song. So what you might notice is that it first plays this octave with this rhythm. Very simple. Then I actually put it up an octave, so it sounds like this. After that, it goes down an octave again, but with a new rhythm. And again, it takes that rhythm and puts it up another octave again. And the reason for doing this is because I want to sort of have a progression throughout the song and not keep it exactly the same. So it kind of switches up every now and then to make it more interesting and not as repetitive. Yeah, so in the second part of each main drop, I have this sort of filtering thing again, just as the octave goes up on the bell, where I add some extra kicks sprinkled in there. And that's also to change up a bit of the rhythm and make it more interesting. Now you might have wondered about the automations, because there's a bit of automation here. The first one is a filter, and it's actually on the master. And it's to create the radio sound right here. That's in the beginning and the different intersections throughout the song. And it's just there to create the radio sound, really. to make it sound like it's played out of a radio. Then I of course have the distortion, which is on the master, and it's a camel crusher, and that distortion is automated, so the intersections have less distortion, and then the drop with the biggest impact, more distortion. The same goes for the volume. The volume is reduced in the intersections and then increased in the drop to add more impact. So as you can see, the change here in volume it's very minor. It's very little change there. And that's basically most of the automation. I also have this automation right here, which is for the tempo, to give that effect at the ending where it kind of slows down. But there's not much else to it. It's very simple. When it comes to the master, the rest of it is also very simple. This EQ is just here to remove frequencies that we can't really hear. So just frequencies that are not really adding anything, because we can't really hear them. So they just take space in the mix that doesn't really need. Then we have this compression on the master to compress the entire sound. Some more EQ down here to balance out frequencies, especially in this case where there's a lot of distortion right on the master. We have to reduce especially the highs, which can become very harsh on the ear. So that's really just why we have this EQ. And there's some other frequencies as well that I had to sort of balance out. Then I have a soft clipper to limit the sound. And lastly, a Jolene loudness meter to always sort of measure the true peak throughout the song. Because as you might know, the true peak should not, throughout the entire song, should preferably not go over 0 decibels, as then it starts clipping most of the time, distorting the sound. In this case, it might not have mattered too much, as the entire sound is already distorted, but you get the idea. Really, this, with too much of a high true peak, most platforms like Spotify, SoundCloud, they will limit your sound, and that will make it sound different from when you produce it. So it's mainly to keep it, to sort of know how it will sound once you upload it. Because otherwise you might not know, it might sound totally different when you upload it, and that's not the result you want. And yeah, the different mixing throughout the different elements are super simple. There's some EQs removing frequencies. So that's really simple. It's just some distortion, as you can see here, throughout some of these. Compression, reverb on some of them. And yeah, it's really simple. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this song, and I hope you got some information out of this video and some help to start your own funk music or start making your own music. And if I didn't help you with any new knowledge, at least I hopefully gave you some inspiration to go on and do your own music. So thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe if you like the video. Comment if you have any questions or just want to chat with me. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys.